Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the studio for college football week 1. After a solid week 0 of college football, we saw Notre Dame obliterate Navy. We saw a questionable game out of USC, and we saw a really fun late night game in Vandy versus Hawaii, which Seth actually won on. Congrats, Seth. You had a pretty good weekend overall. We always love some dubs. But before we get started, how are we doing?
Good, man. Ready to kick off the official week 1. That first week was a nice little appetizer to get us into the real college football. So I'm just ready to get through the week, and I'm ready to get through Saturday.
Dude, it's awesome. And like we even get to start on Thursday night with a thriller, Florida versus Utah. Now, we will talk about that in one moment. Before we get started, make sure to join our Discord. We are rebranding. If you follow us on social media, you've seen that. We are going to be Statletics from here on out. We have a lot of coming. We have a lot of models and analytics that we want to share with you guys, and just overall discussion on top of a new product that we're testing. So if you join the Discord, you can also find more information on that. We are creating an app, and we would love for you to test that out if you nerd out about statistics, especially with college and NFL football. So make sure to join our Discord, follow our socials, like and subscribe to the video if you like this as well. We appreciate that. And then comment your favorite picks. Let us know what we're missing out on. There's so many games. We find the ones that we like and we attack them, but we appreciate when everybody else shares their picks with us. Now, you know how we do it on the show. We always talk about some of the biggest games on the slate first, and then we also give some of our favorite picks, even if they're not that exciting. Biggest game on the slate, in my opinion, this is a game that we swept or swung and missed on. At least I did last year. Best game of week 1, though. LSU versus Florida State. This one is Sunday night in Orlando. LSU is 2.5-point favorite. They are ranked number 5 overall versus number 8 overall, Florida State. I mean, both teams have so much steam coming into the season. Both teams are getting picked for playoff contenders, conference champion contenders. So there's so much excitement in this game. LSU favored at 2.5 again. I picked LSU to cover 1 point last year, and I got burnt on that stupid blocked field goal. So I'm not upset about it. It's all right. But, Seth, in this game, do you like LSU 2.5? Do you like the total? Who do you like in this game, and let me hear why.
So this one's tricky for me. I love what Norvell's doing at Florida State. He has completely turned them around, and I think Florida State is going to have a fantastic season. But on the other side, LSU, again, reloaded, super strong coming in. A lot of people's favorites to win the SEC West. And they have the revenge factor on their side. Last year, I know stings really bad, and I know this is a major opportunity for LSU to kind of get that out of the back of their mind and just take care of business. I am not going to make this an official pick, but I am leaning LSU 2.5, even though it is a neutral site and it is in Orlando. But I am not doubting that LSU will pack that place out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to fall to the trap that I fell in last year. I'm gonna just do it again. Yeah. I knew I was right last year, and I just got burnt on some bad luck. I love LSU in this game, not because I don't think Florida State's not a good football team, but I think that LSU just has more pieces in terms of roster talent, and I think they're a more well balanced team right now. If you look at the offensive and defensive success rates compared to Florida State, you can see that, LSU 17th overall in overall offensive success rate and 12th overall in overall defensive success rate. And you flip it, Florida State was 36 overall with offensive success rate and then 83rd overall with the defensive success rate. And they're really, really tough against defending the run. They're not that good. They have kind of Swiss cheese defensive line when it comes to the run game, and that's kind of what LSU is going to look to do to start off the season. I mean, Jane Daniels, he's got a great arm, but he's known to run. And then LSU always has a slew of running backs coming in. Their offensive line only got better in the offseason. They only got older. Last year they were a young unit. So I do like LSU in this game. Again, like we do it on the show, we talk about the big games, but I can't say with any sort of conviction or confidence that I'm taking LSU, but I am riding LSU for this game. I really like them. Let's talk about the money. 77% of the tickets are on LSU. 87% of the money is on LSU. So we have a heavy, heavy number on the LSU Tigers. Now, what scares me is the line has not moved. It started at 2.5 and it stayed at 2.5. So that leads me to believe that it may be that, Vegas is hinged on that 2.5 number. They're not going to push it up to 3.5. So that makes me believe that they don't want to give any room on that Florida State number. So if you look strictly at the numbers, I can definitely see why somebody would take Florida State. So there's all the information you need with that one. I'm certainly the most excited for that game. I cannot wait, especially after last year. So, all right, man. Hey, that was the first big one, but the college game day game of the week. South Carolina, North Carolina. North Carolina is number 21 overall in the AP poll. They have a Heisman contender at quarterback right now in Drake May. They are favored at 2.5. They're favored by 2.5 points. It's not going to South Carolina, but they're going to Charlotte. And so the Gamecocks had a great end to the year last year. Obviously, they trounced my Tennessee Vols. They beat Clemson, and then they lost in a thriller in the bowl game to Notre Dame. Now, if you didn't know what the line was before it came out, what would you have guessed the line was going to be for this game?
With it being in Charlotte, I know North Carolina, they are ranked in the top 25, right? I think they're like 21, 22. My guess would probably be almost close to a pick 'em.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt, but truthfully, I would have guessed South Carolina like -1 to 2, maybe 3. But I was a little shocked, especially with it being like it's not necessarily neutral site, but it's within a few hours distance from both universities. So I was surprised, especially with the hype that South Carolina's gotten in the offseason. Now they do play one of the toughest schedules in the SEC, so I'm not sure they'll be able to really clear 8 wins, but they'll still have a good unit nonetheless. The numbers look kind of weird. 54% of the tickets are on South Carolina, which subsequently means 46. So it's like a pretty even split. But 70% of the money is on North Carolina. So with that being said, it's looks like there's a lot of big money flowing in on North Carolina. I don't really know what to think here because I think UNC definitely has the better offense, but I mean, you saw them last year. They had no defense to support them in any game. Like look at the ACC championship game last year. Clemson obliterated them. They just ran all over them. So I really don't know what to think here, and I kind of want to take the South Carolina line, but it's just it's weird. It's a little sus. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to make this an official pick for week 1. I am rocking with South Carolina plus 2.5 here. I'm riding the Spencer Rattler train from last season, seeing what they did in last year and riding the momentum into the season. North Carolina is still, I know May is an amazing quarterback. They're just so hit or miss. I feel like they might start well, they might start bad. I don't know. When it comes to ACC football outside of Clemson and Florida State within recent years, I have a hard time getting on the hype train for some of these teams. South Carolina, I feel like even though it is the first game of the season, will be more battle tested in terms of the ending of last season. So I'm going to rock with South Carolina plus 2.5.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty, I would have expected all of the money to be coming in on South Carolina, all of the tickets. I would not have expected a 50-50 split in the tickets, let alone the discrepancy I see in the money. I do think, metrically speaking, South Carolina definitely has a better defense. Almost, they're kind of close with the North Carolina offense, even though North Carolina does have the edge. They obviously have the better quarterback. But, man, it's tempting. I might do it. I might join you. I think that's a great pick. I think with it not necessarily being home field advantage for North Carolina, even though it's technically in their state, I think it's a good pick. So you can't go wrong. But all right, that's a good one. Hey, Florida State at number 14, Utah. Utah's favored 6.5 at home. This is the Thursday night week 1 opener. This is an underrated game in my opinion. And what's weird is that Utah is not announcing a starting quarterback, even though we know it's going to be one of the backups, but we just don't know which one. Cam Rising undoubtedly is not going to play. He hasn't healed from his injury from last year in the conference championship against USC. But who's it going to be? I don't know. Will they be able to score points against Florida? Maybe. The fact that it's a home game, that's going for them. But, I mean, Florida's offense is going to struggle depending on the performance of Graham Mertz. But their defense certainly has the roster to be a solid defense. They're not going to be, great, but they will be good. What do you think about the 6.5 number? What do you think?
I like Florida here. I think, since they're both unclear at quarterback, I think I like Florida's defense more than Utah. I don't know crazy much about either of these teams yet. I know they've lost a lot of key pieces, but I don't know. Seeing how Florida took care of business last year, even with all the hype with Utah, I'm going to have a hard time backing Utah again. I guess since it's so early in the season, if you let Utah get a few games in and they'll start to gel, especially when they decide who they go with at quarterback, I'm going to take Florida in the points here.
Yeah, I'm taking Florida too. I mean, I just think that their defense is going to hold up against Utah's backup quarterback. Now, Utah's defense is a solid unit as well. It might be a little lower scoring than people may like, so I would take a look at that under if I was you guys. But man, I like the 7-point touchdown because some books you can get them for 7 points. Looks like there are a few, maybe not some of the big ones, but a few books you can get -7. So I really like that one. I'm putting it on my board. I can't turn it down, and I can't not bet on the first big game of college football.
Right. Of course.
It's sacrilegious. So, all right, man. Hey, let's jump ship. Let's keep it quick. West Virginia at Penn State. Penn State is favored by 19.5, 20 on some books. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know I'm taking Penn State 19.5 where I can get it. Before it jumps to 21, I am taking it all day. I think Penn State, sure, I buy the playoff hype. I know they're getting a lot of steam as well. We'll see. I don't know if I believe in James Franklin to close the season like that, but I definitely think Drew Aller is going to be an upgrade from Sean Clifford. We don't like Sean Clifford here on this show.
That dude sucks.
And Penn State's defense only got better. They stacked up on that side of the ball. They always have these underrated wide receivers that come out of nowhere. So I'm not worried about the offensive talent. They always have great offensive talent. But their defense actually got better. They recruited better on the defensive side of the ball. This is one of the highest defensive rated class that James Franklin has brought in to this day. And we talk about some of the 2020 metrics from last year. I mean, West Virginia was abysmal. They were one of the league worst in EPA margin. They had a fine offensive success rate, 41st overall, but passing defensive success rate, 124th overall in the nation. And I think that if you turn around and look at the fact that Penn State is a top 30 team in offensive success rate, especially passing, they're going to take advantage of that all day on top of the elite defensive unit that Penn State's about to bring in. I think the talent mismatch in this game is so just overwhelming for me not to take the Penn State -19.5. Get it before it's 21. If it gets 21, I'm probably not going to take it. Right. I don't think it's worth the points at that point. But a home game for Penn State, opener, the new quarterback. I think James Franklin is going to take his new ride for a spin, and he's going to show off to the world what he's got. What do you think?
Yep, I think you laid it out perfectly. I like Penn State here. I would avoid anything, like you said, over 21, 20.5 and under. I will probably personally take it. I think Penn State is the play.
Yeah, I mean, the tickets, 50-50 split, looks like a 53-47 split in favor of Penn State. But the money is coming in on West Virginia. It's 65% compared to 35%, and that's fine. I think people see a big spread and they, get a little scared away, but I'm not. And I think this is going to be like a 45-20 type game, in my opinion. So I love Penn State. I don't see anything weird in the betting mismatch. All of the stats point me in the right direction. The model points me in the right direction. I'm going with it. it's here to stay. So, Seth, give me something you like. Let's hear it.
So I got something kind of random. It's not random, but Michigan, East Carolina. I'm actually going to take East Carolina plus 36.
Wow.
So listen, I'm high on Michigan. I think they're potentially 11-1, 12-0 type season. But I also think East Carolina is not a horrible football team. They are decent, and I think that they will also have a great year in the American. I also don't see Michigan opening the playbook too much in this game. I don't see them going full throttle, and I think 36 points against a decent East Carolina team is a little too much for me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, there might be some growing pains, especially without Harbaugh being on the sidelines.
Right, exactly.
People forget he's suspended, so you make a good point. And if East Carolina can score 1 or 2 touchdowns, that'll probably cover. Assuming that Michigan slope, they're not the most dynamic, explosive offense. They're more of a ground and pound. So that profiles well for covering a large spread. And it looks like there's some sharp money coming in on East Carolina. They have a 50-50 ticket split, but 31% of the money coming in on East Carolina. That's more than I expected. So, it profiles well. Profiles is a great pick. So,
that's what I'm rocking with. Yep.
Yeah, I can dig. What else? You got anything else for me?
No, there's so many ones that look pretty, but I'm just scared. Tulane, South Alabama is kind of a random one. I'm hearing a lot of hype around this South Alabama team. I don't know. People are saying they're going to be one of the better Group of 5 teams this year. I think Tulane with Pratt at quarterback is going to be pretty dominant again.
Okay.
But that spread's 6.5. I was thinking about giving an official pick, but I am a coward and I cannot give the points because South Alabama, I've heard a lot of hype, but I think that one will be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm going to finish you off with a good one real quick. I am taking Clemson minus 12 against Duke, and I know that it's at Duke, and people are actually picking Duke as the upset game of the week.
Yep, I've seen that everywhere.
I'm not buying it. I think Dabo is pissed off about last year. I think this team is pissed off about last year and the way that the media and the public treated him. And I think that this team hiring Garrett Riley to come in on their offense, the guy who just took TCU to the national championship as his offensive coordinator, I think that is going to just revitalize this team. And Clemson every year has a top 15 defense. So statistically, you can always bank on them having a defense. I know Duke has a lot of sexy talent coming in and some new coaching staff changes, but dude, Clemson, their roster is elite. Their coaching has been proven. This team, I think, is a sleeping giant because of Cade Klubnik's talent under Garrett Riley. I'm taking the 12 points before it gets to 2 touchdowns. I think there's some sharp money on it. I'll leave it at that. So
I like that. I think a lot of the times when people or collectively have an upset of the week, it usually just doesn't go well. If the public is all over a team to pull an upset, that upset usually does not happen.
Right. All right, man. Hey, that's it for me. Short and sweet, to the point.
Yep.
All right. Hey, if you're watching, please also make sure to drop your picks. We would appreciate what you guys know. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and check out our Discord. We got a lot of new stuff coming up, and we would love for you to be a part of it. We will talk to you guys next week.